Well, that sucked. It was really bad. It was really bad. I'm Nick Roush. He's Adam Luckett. We're here at Kroger Field where Kentucky just lost to Vanderbilt. A ranked Kentucky football team lost to Vanderbilt. One of the worst teams in college football, ranked at the bottom in all sorts of statistical categories. Very, very bad. Had a backup quarterback come in and snapped a 26-game SEC losing streak, which, Luckett, I think you crunched the numbers in the longest SEC losing streak ever.
Yeah, at least in the modern era. I mean, we might have to go back a long time, maybe back when Sewanee was in the SEC.
Right.
But 26, long. It snapped to a Vandy longer. They've had a 20-game and a 22-game. You go back, believe it was 2003, Rich Brooks' first year. They beat Kentucky and snapped another string, toward the goalpost down in Nashville. No goalposts coming down here.
No,
Kroger Field. Just an awful performance, all three phases, Nick.
Well, and you could see it coming a mile away, right? We talked about it throughout the week, and then when the national anthem singer guy forgot the words, started over, and then still forgot the words, like the tone was set from the get-go. It was an omen of bad things to come in the wintry mix that was swirling around here at Kroger Field.
Yeah, the defense was bad. They got 2 fourth-quarter leads. Defense couldn't get a stop either drive. We can talk about that if we want. That's just not the story.
No.
You know, it's just not the story right now. It's this offense. Haven't scored more than, 21 offensive points against a power conference team. This was a high today.
Yeah.
This was a Vanderbilt team that was giving up 36.8 points per game. This was a Vanderbilt team whose pass defense got lit up by like a Christmas tree against every Power 5 team they faced today.
Oh, even G5 teams.
And Will Levis had his worst game of the season. I think numbers-wise, it'd be that or Tennessee, but just was just awful. Chris Rodriguez kind of had to turn into Superman there in the fourth quarter to kind of get them over the hump. But what we saw out there is just like that just can't happen. They're all like we were joking in the press box. Oh, the worst thing to do is get in the red zone today.
Yep.
They end up scoring there that one possession in the fourth quarter, but it was just bad. Offense is just bad, and everything looks like it's really, really hard. I've talked about this all season, but there's like no layups for this offense. There's no layups. Everything's got to be like a contested long two to put in basketball terms. It's just, why is it this hard? Stuff should be more easy than it is, and they just haven't been able to figure out for whatever reason. And we can look at the myriad of issues, but you can't get around that the offense has just been a huge disappointment. It's kind of sunk this season.
Yeah, second snap of the game, Kentucky forces a turnover inside the Vanderbilt 30, 0 yards, kick a field goal.
Yeah.
4 possessions in a row where 4 times they got inside the 30. They only got 6 points out of all of those. I believe nine.
They had 4 possessions in the first half. They had the ball on Vandy's side of the field each possession, went to halftime with 6 points.
Yeah, it's just like it's bad. It took them their 5th try before they could finally score a touchdown once they got it inside the 30-yard line. Just failure to execute. They were moving the ball, and they couldn't execute when it mattered. We had a field goal blocked. It was just a myriad of problems. That first half, it was so confounding because Vanderbilt was 130th, ranked 130 out of 131 teams in scoring defense. And Kentucky just wasn't scoring, even though they got 2 first-half turnovers. 2 first-half turnovers by the defense. Like, a failure to capitalize. That's been the theme all year long. Even though Chris Rodriguez did turn into Superman, he's tied Benny Snell now with 19 career games of 100-plus yards. He's 3rd in school history now. And it's almost a bad thing. You almost don't want to read it because he's ranked 3rd in school history in rushing. And you've got a quarterback that's probably going to be a first-round pick. You've got 4-star wide receivers. Baryon Brown's got the freshman receiving record, and you can't score points. You've just completely missed out on so many opportunities this season, and now you're in a situation where you typically beat South Carolina, Missouri, and Vandy to move up the SEC East ladder. Well, they lost to 2 of them, and they haven't done that since Mark Stoops' first season.
First time since 2013 where they lost 2 of those 3, like you mentioned, and that's been part of Kentucky's climb up this ladder. Kentucky entered this season, Nick, like this methodical climb, and you felt like they were a top 25 program, a team that could maybe make a run if Georgia was to slip in the East. Now you've given Shane Beamer and Clark Lee, in the same season, you've given them 2 top 25 wins on the road that they can hang their hat on in a long rebuild.
The road. You were at home. I know it wasn't a raucous atmosphere, but you had 5 official visitors today, including a kid they're trying to flip from Cincinnati, a big-time prospect that Notre Dame really wants, and you went and laid that egg like that. It's very deflating. And now what Kentucky does next, we don't know. Mark Stoops says he's not considering any in-season staff changes, but this sealed Rich Scangarello's fate. Like I don't think there's any way around it. You scored 21 points. Like
we'll see tomorrow on Sunday if something happens or not. At this point, it's hard to maybe not see it not happening. But yeah, we're going to be covering offensive coordinator search.
Yeah,
I mean,
it's gonna happen.
It seems almost a lock at this point. There's philosophy questions I think that have to be really kind of looked at hard.
You are a philosophizer.
I mean, just like shrinking the game, playing limited possessions has really helped Kentucky in this build. It's helped them create wins and create momentum. But today it backfired. 9 possessions today.
Yeah.
It's just not enough. You got to get off the field on third down. They did play complementary football. You have to get off the field. But they play a style that allows them to get drawn into those games a lot. We talked about it, like playing in the mud.
Mm-hmm.
They always have to play in the mud. Maybe sometimes you don't need to play in the mud. Maybe get in the track meet with a team you have better athletes and players in on the outside. That didn't happen today. So you kind of got lured into playing how Vanderbilt wanted to play, and it just everything kind of broke their way. And then you find yourself in a 50-50 game in the fourth quarter. It's a place you should not be against that team. A team you're legitimately were 3 touchdowns better than on most major computers coming into today. So you have to, like, is this what we've gotten this far? Do we need to change something at this point? Do we need to go in a different direction? And then bottom line, it's a bottom line business. You got to score points to win games. Mm-hmm. And they just struggle to score points against Power 5 competition. That's just been a thing throughout the Stoops tenure. They've won double-digit games without scoring many points.
Yeah.
I think that 2018 team scored less than 20 in 3 or 4 wins, or 2 to 3 wins. And last year there was an issue at some point. So, for Kentucky to get over this hump, I think they're hitting right now. They have to just, some things have to change. And it's a huge offseason for 1,000 different reasons. We got maybe a collective announcement coming Monday that doesn't feel like great timing right now. And there's just a lot of things that need to get fixed. I don't know what happened. These next 2 games, Georgia is what it is. There's going to be zero buzz.
Nope.
Everybody's expecting the worst going into next week.
You were going to have a top 25 game on CBS, and now you're just hoping not to get embarrassed.
And now you're going to host Louisville, and probably it could be 2 6-5 teams playing.
Yep.
Just an odd game. You're playing to maybe go to the Texas Bowl now.
Yeah. Instead of playing in Tampa, you've got Vegas. Hell, that's probably off the table, right? Because
they get to 7-5, they could potentially get to Vegas.
But you still have, Houston. Playing in Houston just sounds awful. So there's a lot of downward spiraling. What happens between now and the time that Christmas rolls around? It's anybody's guess. It's going to be a volatile month for the Kentucky football program. There's no denying it.
The overarching theme of just this whole season is you've had this good defense, you had these opportunities, you had Will Levis, and you just didn't take advantage.
Nope.
You had this guy here. Now, what do you think Levis is what he is or whatnot? It's a first round. He's going to get drafted in the first round.
Yep.
And Kentucky's name's going to be attached to all of the draft talk. And now you have to wonder how much good is that draft talk going to be? Because now people are going to have to defend Levis and what happened this year. And that's not a good place to be. As the lights went out on us here, I think that's a sign, Nick. But, we'll be back all next week. There's a lot to discuss. Just missed opportunities. And that just most of it's tied to the offense, I feel like. It's more special teams blunders, obviously, today. And defense did not play well, but sooner or later, your offense has to win games too. It can't just be the defense. Offense hasn't done its end of the deal this year.
And that's kind of a recurring theme in the Stoops era, right? You're close, but your offense just isn't good enough. Just not good enough. They weren't good enough today to beat Vanderbilt, something I never thought I would say. And you know what? We got to end this by saying, Drew, you son of a bitch. What the hell?